Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome back to the Inn of Planar Crossroads, and as always, welcome back to our Around the Hearth discussions. This time we are on our final chat for Sci-Fi July. We hope you have enjoyed, basically, Digimon month this year. We've been enjoying the discussion. We've been talking about Digimon, and we've been edumacating Scrat on the Digimon deets, so, you know.
So lost.
Like this squirrel holding all these charts and stuff like that. He's just looking around. So, no worries.
I feel like I've seen that in Redwall somewhere.
Yep, yeah. All right. Well, before we dive into a separate franchise, let's start talking about. Let's get into our introductions and announcements for you new people out there that don't know who we are. I will go first, and then we'll technically have Scrat go next, so that we can have Rordrik be he is our guest star / Levi spotlight. So that's how we'll do it. We'll keep it up. So I am Adam L. Spain with the Inn of Planar Crossroads and the Gentle Voice Ministries. If you want to check out the video portions of those things, you can check out innofplanarcrossroads.com. Has the links to the Inn of Planar Crossroads stuff. It has our social links as well as our support options. Just for convenience sake, I guess that is something I need to kind of announce. I'm working on different designs for I'm playing around with different design ideas for the webpage, so that may change in the future to include a link to the Inn of Planar Crossroads stuff as well as the ministry stuff, and then you would go to the links for the others. The links to each of them. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure if that's how it's going to work out or not, but if I've already got a page, I might as well use it to do that, because it's a Planar Crossroads. It still fits the theme. But that's the only real announcement I have. Scrat, why don't you tell them about yourself?
That's me. I am Scrat from A Squirrel Plays over on YouTube, and I like to make videos talking about storytelling stuff, whether that's world building or making heroes and villains interesting. Sometimes we'll look at individual 5e spells, and we'll put those in I can't say a real world, but a fictional world of sorts, and see how well it works and how much one little spell can just completely turn things upside down. It's just little exercises to do to work on your world building. Mm-hmm. But I also do a lot of TTRPG stuff because that obviously has a lot of storytelling and world building in it. So it is for both the TTRPG GMs and players out there, as well as just the story writers. And because of that, I have gotten roped into the TTRPG community by a bunch of people, and it's been pretty nice. I have enjoyed it. I get to do things like this.
Are you listening? Are you listening, Glee? That means that he likes being tied up and told what to do. So
wow. Oh, I don't know about all that now.
Well, you said you got roped into it.
I got roped into it.
And you were enjoying it. I know. I'm just trying to help her out.
I should know better how to use my words. But that's all I got. I am here to learn about Digimon, and I'm going to have to go binge watch Rordrik's channel and get all...
You should have done that before the chat.
Man, it's been a crazy couple weeks, man.
Fair enough.
God, how many hundreds of hours of Digimon is on my channel by now? It's a lot. I suppose that leaves it to me. Hello, everybody. My name is Rordrik. I'm primarily a Digimon YouTuber. You can find all sorts of Digimon news over there that's been coming out, everything about the newest stories that have been happening, with Liberator currently being the most recent. Hopefully by the time this comes out, we'll actually have more news to talk about, and something new and exciting that even past Rordrik here doesn't know about. I'm not sure that'll actually happen, but I hope. So you'll find all that. I've played with Digimon Digital Adventure. We've talked about that over on the channel, which is a Digimon tabletop. I play a bit of Pathfinder 2 over on the side. And if you go over onto my Twitch side, we do Jackbox just as a community to hang out with everybody every Monday and Thursday. Wednesday, you'll never know, I do some variety. And over the weekends is when I do my Digimon stuff over on Twitch. And you can find those streams now also over on YouTube because I've expanded and figured out how to do it on both at the same time. It's fancy. And so, yeah, I'm a completely family-friendly streamer, so anyone can stop by. If, you're worried about adult content, you won't find any of that here. As much as people try to put it into my Jackbox nights. No, stop it.
That's right. The only adult content is Scrat's only squirrels. So
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I love how we started this whole thing off about that, and then he turns around and says, I'm a PG channel. It's like, well, not anymore.
Yeah. He's a PG channel. We are an 80s PG-13 channel. So
That's the good stuff.
All right. Well, we have our participants all introduced, and that includes Levi's spotlight being done. So, go ahead and grab your preferred beverages and join us around the hearth as we discuss digital companions, digital friends. Skål. Oh, branching out in your drink choice.
Ah, my final digi-evolving steps here.
Wow.
I mean, it's not bad. It's a good
You
start.
DNA Digivolve with Ignitemon. Cool.
Yeah.
It's something.
At least that's just the weapon. The arm looks like Gatsumon, so
Yeah, there you go.
got a whole Digicross. Got a bunch of them in there.
Yeah. I consumed all of them. Just
Oh, we're doing
little
Dark
squirrel.
Digicross. Oh.
The truth comes out. Scrat would always choose Dark Digivolution. All right. Well, we are to the last chat. We'll get some key points in there that I want in there, and then we'll go into Rordrik's list of notes that he has. We'll start bouncing off of the media that we're using this time, which is from, per Scrat's request, the Digimon movie Digimon movie from the 2000. It is The Impression That I Get by the Mighty Mighty Bosstones. So, some points for this one for digital companions, digital friends. Oh, I need to remember. Eldamon is a good choice for TTRPG ideas. We also mentioned Open Legend, some of the more free systems. Pathfinder 2E is pretty good. And we have some Digimon specifically themed ones like Digimon Digital Adventures, which is, all of these are going to be unofficial,
Fan-made.
shall we say. Yeah. The good stuff. Digimon Digital Adventures, Digimon World Beta v1.0.3, and Digi-Destiny Rules, a supplement for Kids on Bikes system, which I believe I've made sure to mention that someone I've been talking to in another Discord has used before and has found success with, which does make sense. The Kids on Bikes system is very much about kids having 80s style adventures, like think Goonies, but Digimon. So, all right. So that means we can get to these characters. Overcoming is a big deal, and so you would want to have that individualized. We mentioned this before towards the end of our last chat, so it's appropriate to mention it now. That the song kind of hints to that idea of that personal overcoming. So each of the characters would be hopefully able to overcome. We're not saying they could necessarily. There is always that option of failure in TTRPGs, but we would hope they would. There's the personal tragedy is a good thing for the storytelling if you want to do that. And the more personal you make a tragedy, for your characters anyway, the deeper they're usually going to want to deal with it. It's going to have a deeper effect on them. So it's one thing to have a really bad thing to happen to you that happened to a bunch of other people. But when you have to deal with a personal tragedy, those can be harder to overcome because it's just you. You have to deal with it. Other people have gone through similar things, but sympathy and empathy are different. So that's something to think about. Aspects of personality for Digimon and Tamer connection, harkening back to our chats about really incorporating that into your character creation when you're doing a Digimon game is very useful, especially when you've gotten to this point where you, like in the adventure that we're talking about, that personal, whatever that personal superstition might be. In this, it's knocking on wood, but that doesn't have to be what it is for everybody. You can work through with that superstition. And then making sure that that personal breakthrough, whatever it is for this character, is going to be something that builds up, that is rewarded. So whether they succeed or fail, there is an outcome, there is an effect that comes from it. There's an affect that comes from it. So those are some of the points I had for going into this one. So now we can dive into your notes.
I mean, immediately off the bat, just because you said the key point, the torments that I talked about in Digimon Digital Adventure, that's perfect for that, because you either succeed and work towards stopping it, or you fail, and depending on how badly you fail, there's a list of things that can happen, whether it's just shutting down, running away, and things like that can really do that. So just shout out to this one system I've done that is Digimon that you pretty much brought up there. So again, I assume we'll just go through the song kind of in order again.
Yep. Sounds good.
Okay. So again, we're talking about the tragedies. I mean, once again, personal, making it for you, whether it is the Digimon or the human. So you have to keep in mind that it is likely different. The different kinds of tragedies, the different kinds of things that they've gone through. Even a rookie Digimon, depending on your world, they could have lived for, who knows, days, weeks, months. Kind of depends on years. I mean, it depends on kind of your world, what you want to think of them. So what do you think could happen? This might be something you talk about with your world building and your GM of how cruel is this world? How much tragedy generally is there? Is it normal for you to have this kind of tragedy? Or is it make you unique that you've gone through this tragedy as a character? Is it, everyone kind of commiserates that, yeah, this world sucks. Everyone in charge is oppressing us. Every tragedy is everywhere. Or is it, I grew up on the nice little friendly village and something came in and ruined all that and completely shattered everything for you. I mean, just think about, those Digimon. Normally, yay, happy. They're born in the primary village. They're taken care of. Everything is happy. What if it's not? What if they were born somewhere else, somewhere different? Like Gatomon, when she was being taken and got lost and was raised by Myotismon instead, somebody evil. There is so much different tragedy you can do. You can build a character that was raised evil, building on the vaccine virus thing. You could be someone who's not virus made to be evil or raised that way and question it. And think about things like that. That you don't, either you do succumb to it so heavy you collapse, or you are able to resist it and can't, and don't collapse.
And that,
I think Myotismon is the only name I have recognized this whole night.
That is the original adventure, yeah.
hey, that's not fair. You recognize Agumon.
I did.
Have we even mentioned Agumon? Probably at some point.
Yeah, we mentioned Agumon earlier in the chats. He's Chomper.
I think that was between chats, but okay.
Oh, well, watch for it in the
Behind the scenes.
I don't know, behind the scenes that'll come out, 5 years from now or something like that. I got so many behind the scenes things. But to your point about Gatomon, yeah, if you look at it, Kari is one of those characters that is different than the other Digi-Destined. She doesn't really have a tragic something in her thing that she really blames herself for or hurts for or something like that. She's kind of sickly, but that's really it. It wasn't like she
always
thing.
Blames herself is the problem, really.
Right. But that's more of a personal flaw than a personal tragedy. And so the tragedy for her, in the dynamic for her in a Digimon, is the Digimon's tragedy. And she has to be the good thing for the Digimon, not the other way around. So she does have that difference there. And you can do that in your game too. You can take inspiration from that for a character, a specific character if you'd like to. So.
So, moving into the knocking on wood stuff, just being Digimon, I think it's hilarious if you have a Digimon who's very superstitious about knocking on wood and is like, Woodmon, Cherrymon, Digimon that are really made out of wood.
Puppetmon,
Puppetmon, Peddledramon. I think Peddledramon it's a plant of some kind. I don't know necessarily if wood. Or there are some that would naturally be lucky. Like you could think of Rabbitmon if you're thinking of the superstitions, or Bitmon if you want to call him his Japanese version. It's literally a rabbit or rabbit's foot. Or, Catch Mamemon, who's literally a slot machine. He's built into him. You can play up so much stuff with superstitions and luck and things like that. Something like someone who is a slot machine could easily very much believe they are always lucky or never roll the triple sevens and are very unlucky.
Yeah.
You could play with that. I mean, that's an ultimate, so you probably wouldn't be starting with that. But you could, find people like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's the digital world. Play up your superstitions. Play up weird things. Is it knocking on wood? Is it, they have to sit facing this direction or something? There's so many different things you could do with superstitions that may have worked for them in the past. That's why they believe in them, or they think they're stupid and they don't have to believe in them because they've never had to use them. As it says, they don't believe that they need to, but they know people who did. Oh yeah, that works for them, but that's just poppycock. That doesn't matter. That doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Well, you get a lot with, let's say you spill salt and you have to toss it over your shoulder. You have to sprinkle some over your shoulder. Well, what if you've got somebody going very much into the survive style of Digimon, where it's basically just yokai is kind of what that is. And you have that, and when he does, say, just picturing a person who maybe he's not necessarily a good guy. Maybe he's a character that's a bit more hardened, a bit more tough, and slightly older. He's maybe one of the investigators if you're using Call of Cthulhu as an option for a more superstitious game. And when he throws it over, yes, you can almost see the pepper or whatever it is his choice of totem for that. But as that happens, it drifts to the side, and from one side, from behind him comes a Gatsumon, or another rock-based Digimon that is his partner to, if he's a hardened investigator, investigate, or if he's a rough bruiser, to take care of business. And so now you have, it's like summoning but not. And you could use summoner in this, I guess, if you wanted to, for classes. So.
Someone like Pathfinder has a summoner like that could, Pathfinder 2 at least.
Yeah, and if you want to do, just as a note, if you want to do different levels within the Pathfinder 2 set, what you would do is you would just keep separate sheets for each time you gave a mutation, and those would be your stages. So you could have boop, 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 up the stages as he goes on. Though that is something I wanted to mention. If you're going to do stages for characters, this should have been in our second chat, not this one, sorry. But if you're going to do characters that have different stages, make it worth the player's while to de-digivolve and then to go back up. Don't just make it where mega go boom. You know, make it where sometimes it's better to be a champion or a rookie. And sometimes this rookie can take on this champion, and sometimes this ultimate can't take on this champion. So that's something interesting you can do with Digimon, because you can go up and down, that you can't do something like Pokemon.
Typically, you know, a way I might think to do that is like as you level up, you have, you know, a number of stamina points or whatever you want to call them equal to your level. And, you know, being a mega costs 4 stamina per round or minute or whatever you want to do. And so straining yourself to be the higher forms costs more. You know, make it a way that they can't just stay in that form. They have to manage and change it to not just make it so that there's more decisions to make and make it more interesting, but yeah, you get to see other things and different tactics that they'll eventually have to use. Something like that.
All right. So let's see. Odd stacked up, I think, is next.
Focus. There we go. So yeah, odd stacked up so high. Again, the a strength that most don't possess. So this could be, again, a lot of the forcing of Digivolution, a power that, you know, you think you don't have, you can't do. Like thinking of Impmon from Tamers. It's not fair. It's not fair. You know, everybody has these loving partners, which he has partners, but they don't interact. I'm trying to remember why. Exactly. He's not with his partners.
Well, they were fighting over him and hurt him in their fight, so he left.
Yeah, so it wasn't fair that he's watching all these other people digivolve around him, and that's what ended up pushing him to becoming Beelzemon and full of wrath. Or wait, no, gluttony.
Yeah, his doesn't make sense. His I mean, he's absorbing everybody. I get what they were kind of going for, but it's got to be a Japanese kind of lost in translation thing for them picking
guess.
him to have gluttony. I would have thought Leviamon for that or something.
Yeah, the guy that's a giant mouth. Yeah. It's like 50% mouth. Yeah. But yeah, having something that other people have, or, you know, being the one that has something that other people don't have. Like I was also thinking about Shoutmon from Cross Wars, where he, you know, he wants to become the king. He wants to rise above the rest, but for other people, not for selfish reasons. He needs this strength that most don't possess. He needs to rise above the rest. And at first, it seems like a lot of really selfish reasons, and he's one of my favorite Digimon just because of how much he grows over the course of the season. That's why I think it's one of the better seasons, is how much he changes and grows and gains this power and uses it well. Because there's a lot of people who you do get this power that people don't possess, and that leads into a dark road for many people. So you there are many ways you can go about that, and it's not just a dark Digivolution that can happen, because your partners could be virus. Your partner doesn't have to be a goody two shoes vaccine that's always, you know, upholding righteousness and doing everything. You might have to have your human re-guide them and remind them sometimes of some of these things. Again, just playing off the dynamic. You're not always just one person, unless you're playing that way, which you can, as we talked about. But that's just something that I love, is always that you have the ability to bounce off each other. You have powers growing that others don't have. Or even just the power of you individually as a person with the crest that we talked about from the original Digimon Adventure. You know, you have something special about you that others don't possess. Don't be afraid of it. It's a strength.
I think it's also interesting when you were talking, it brought up the idea of, yeah, you can have a virus partner. And hold on. Well,
They've had
we'll
multiple
do.
of those throughout the years.
Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be my final thought. Let's see. It's me anyway. So, yeah, it's going to be my final thought. So I'm final thought first this time, then Rordrik, then Scrat.
Oh, not last? Wow.
Yeah. So my final thought is maybe take that and run a bit more with. If you have some people that are familiar with Digimon, they're going to have certain expectations about what each of the Digimon do. Like Agumon, he's going to go into War Greymon type of situation eventually. Palmon, oh, she's going to go to Togemon and into this one or that one, and Lilymon, or different stuff like that. But what if you take the 8 Digi-Destined and they're the bad guys? Like those Digimon, you don't tell your players this, but you take the vaccines that would be the good guys and you sprinkle them through as not the good guys. The players will start to be like, oh, it doesn't. The vaccine and virus and data triangle is not going to be something that I can count on to tell me if somebody's a good guy or a bad guy, because most vaccines are going to be good guys in the media. Well, that doesn't have to be the way it is. It doesn't have to be that simple. You can do like they do this with the knights some, but it's not particularly full on that way. Most of the vaccine knights end up being good guys, period. So play with that expectation, and it'll probably pay off pretty well when you're going through these kind of personal trials that these characters are going through, having to work through those different things. So that would be mine. Play with the expectations of the players.
I mean, that mostly works if you play with people that really know Digimon. Because I've played with a mixture of people that really know the source material, and people who just, kind of barely know it. So your mileage can, especially if your party really knows it, messing with stuff is great. Doing stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah. So for most of your characters, just always make sure that you have an idea of what you're planning on aiming for. I mean, are you a coward? Do you have these superstitions? Are these things that are crucial to your character, or just cute little things that are about you that, everyone has their own little quirks and stuff versus, what dominates and controls your personality, who you actually are. And whether you actually want to lean into that, which a lot of Digimon does, you can really learn and grow and change your character along the way, because that is what a lot of the tragedy, learning that you're not a coward, you can't be a coward. Sometimes it's forced upon you. It's not always what you thought you were going to be. Be able to embrace things that surprise you as a player. Sometimes you will think, oh yeah, this is where I'm going with this character, and something will happen and it would make sense to do this. I mean, obviously if you establish, some personality with your GM and make sure, talk to your GM. Communication solves so many problems and so many things, whether it's within the group or, talking to your other party members in game. So don't be a coward. Talk to people, adapt, and have a good time.
All right.
Never.
See, that's why he's
Please
got the
give me
dark
feedback.
Digivolutions.
Please give me feedback, and I can't even get it, so I don't know.
That's no good. That means it's up for me now.
Yep,
Let's
you.
see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna bounce off what I was saying in the past couple episodes here, especially the last one. The knocking on wood, never had to. Knew somebody did. The way I had thought that was, the singer considering himself fortunate, but knowing other people that hadn't. And I had talked about the worlds mixing and crossing over and them finding unfortunate others on the other side. So I think it'd be neat if I can remember this right. That'd be super neat if you had people get sucked into this world, maybe similar to what I was saying, I think in the second chat we had, where there was like a bunch of people got pulled over into the digital side, and then you got this group. It could be your kids, or it could be just a group of adults, or whatever, your small main crew here that took some Digimon under their wings and just like really took care of them. Because for whatever reason, like they thought it was wrong that they got caught up in this, or they just liked them, whatever the case may be. But like they made sure those little Digimon never had to want for anything. And then fast forward some time, and then something happens to those people that were taking care of them. So they die or they get taken away, and that's those Digimon's big awakening. Like that's when that might even push them to like Digivolve. That makes sense. And the mechanics of the world, I don't know, but that might be what makes them grow up, for lack of better words. And the Digimon are the ones that knew somebody who knew somebody that had to knock on wood. They start realizing, oh wow, these humans had it really rough and were giving us everything despite all that. So I don't know if you start a campaign out with them playing as a Digimon, like that's how they get started, or if you have them control the humans and then the Digimon as a side thing, and then halfway through the campaign you're like, nope, let's turn the tables. You're all dead in Digimon now. So, not sure, but I thought story-wise that would be kind of neat.
Well, I mean, if you make humans noble and heroic, you're flipping a lot of current Digimon's stories on their head anyway. So there you go.
Well, that's the thing, like they wouldn't even have to be particularly heroic. They just, in that example anyway, they're just like putting these Digimon first.
Yeah.
So it might make more sense if the Digimon, like the worlds were crossing over for whatever reason, and some of these Digimon got pulled into their world and were really out of their element, and they took care of them.
Yeah. I think that'd make a good that'd make a nice cold open to a more dramatic story.
Mm-hmm.
So you play 1 or 2 sessions as the players doing the human stuff, and then boom, right there you come to the end of the second session and say, okay guys, make sure to make it to next time so you can see what happens to the Digimon. And then they're playing the Digimon grow up, and then you've probably talked to them a little bit before, so maybe they're little in training baby type of forms. This is where they reach their rookie and they realize how much the humans were doing for them. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Or flip it on its head and they realize they were harvesting them for their Digicores. Find the deep underbelly that was really happening.
See, you're too much Digimon for you, Rordrik. Too much Digimon media for you. All right. Well, we hope you have enjoyed. We've kept pretty close to time on this one. Good deal. So,
wow.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you would like to check out the Inn of Planar Crossroads or the Gentle Voice Ministries, you can check out the video portions of that by going to innofplanarcrossroads.com or the iopc.com. Either one works to get to the Inn of Planar Crossroads stuff. We have our things there. Again, by the time you're watching, I may have updated the web page a little bit to have both of those there for people to easily access, both the ministry and the hobby thing. But we will see. Not so sure that will happen as quickly as that. Then we've got a Squirrel Plays. He's been talking TTRPG stuff for a little bit now. Been enjoying it. It's been good to have him. I'm glad we've dragged him in here. Roped him down.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. But glad he's been having a good time. And glad we've had Rordrik here with us. So, It's been a pleasure having you. We hope you can make some of the... Well, it's hard for him to make them because he streams at the same time we record these. So maybe we'll do... If he really really wants to talk about one of the topics, he might pop in again. So we'll see.
We'll see, yeah.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
Oh, we didn't do this last time. He's at one... We haven't been doing this. He's at 1,270-ish subscribers right now. So the goal is to get him to 2,000. That's the goal. All right. We hope you've enjoyed. And as always, have a great day. God bless. And enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
This content was made possible by travelers and viewers like you. Thank you.
Okay.
It's the thing with having a cat that wants the door open, but having a roommate that probably wants me to be quiet.
I mean, most roommates want that, from what I've heard.
Mhm.
For some reason.
Well, this late at night, I kind of understand.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Well, speaking of, we want to get this done before it's midnight for the real time people. Then we need to go ahead.
I'm saying, then you got 8 minutes. We gotta go quick.
So, digital companions, digital friends. Next up. Okay. Anything we need to bounce into before we get into the chat? Gotta switch out. We went hope last time, so what is it going to be this time?
All right, friendship. I don't know. We're here together.
Friendship. The power
do
of
love,
friendship.
but
Raydramon.
That's the one that the paint just flaked off a lot. It doesn't look real good.
Well,
Could do, sincerity or purity, but that ship sailed long ago. Family friendly, so maybe more than some, but
well, it's sincerity in the original, isn't it?
yes. Well, it's just English versus Japanese. Japanese is purity, where in English it's sincerity. They changed what it was called.
I kind of like the sincerity one better.
Just like Joe's is reliability versus responsibility. I'm not sure really why they changed that one.
I don't know. Reliability makes more sense because he had to be reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Okie dokie. All right, ready, Scrat? Scrat.
Nope. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Room tone.